So I've also gone and created another mock-up of the pivoting rod. Let's put it in and see how it looks. So the shaft fits nicely in the block here below, and the metal rests on the metal of the screw going through, providing a nice low friction interface. And the way to install one of these is to place it in and then insert the bracket on top, which I have right here. And this locks the rod in, preventing it from falling out. And tighten the block on top. And there you have it. The rod moves gracefully in any direction. I'm going to go and create a full set of 7 of these pivoting rods and install them, and then figure out how the heck to connect each of them to their neighbors with springs. And only then will we have a real proof of concept. So I ordered some stiff metal rod of just the right diameter. Okay, now I've got a set of rods all cut to length and the ends rounded over. So now I'll use this guide to drill a hole perpendicularly through this test piece. So I've got a little wooden shim here. Place that in the vise. Then I'll drop a rod in there and then the guide on top. I'll line up the vise with the guide here. Okay, clamp the vise down. Make sure the vise is tight, and here we go. Alright, we're through. Let's see how we did. Okay, I'd say that's pretty well centered. Yeah, I think this technique is going to work. I'll mark the centers using the adjustable square. Check that they're in the middle by flipping it around. Yep. Okay, got all the center points marked on each of the rods. Now it's time to drill. I'll drop the insert in. There we go. Nice. Clamp everything tight again. Let's see how we did. I think that's going to work. I'll drill the rest of the rods now. Okay, got the set of rods drilled and countersunk. So now I've got to carve these slots, or these mortises, in each of the dowel rods. This one I did manually by drilling a series of holes and then smoothing it out with a chisel. But I'd like to automate the process a little more. So what I've come up with is a jig to help me do that. It'll work on the drill press with a router bit. The advantage of the router bit is that it is able to cut sideways. So I'll take a dowel, and the dowel is going to slide back and forth in this channel. This is going to get clamped to the drill press table. The channel has a bit of sacrificial wood on the bottom there, which is elevated, and there's a stopper block here which acts like a clamp. So take the dowel, put it in the stopper block, clamp it tight, and that's going to hold the dowel nice and rigidly, prevent it from wanting to rotate one way or another as it's being mortised. You'll grab hold of the stopper block and slide it between these two limiters, and that's going to give you a path back and forth underneath the bit that you'll take over multiple passes to hopefully end up with a nice slot. So I'm going to try it out. Let's see how it goes. Okay, it looks like we got it pretty well aligned, left to right and front to back. Okay, got everything locked down. Let's give it a try. Nice and smooth. Looks a little off center. I think I'll do a bit of adjustment, but overall, Quite happy with how this looks. Okay, I've got my set of dowel rods mortised. I'm going to do a little sanding to clean up the rough edges. To make the end caps for each of the pivoting rods, I've bought some 2-inch dowel stock. The fabrication is coming along. I've made this tool to mark each of the caps in the center and a little bit off center in 6 places. My thinking is that these marks will serve to attach the springs which connect neighboring rods. So I'm going to go ahead and mark each of these. That works nicely. I'm still not exactly sure how I'm going to attach the springs to each of the pivoting rods, but I'm thinking that it has promise to try to attach them on the underside of each of the caps. Okay, so to drill the hole perpendicular through the mortise that the axle will go through and allow the rod to pivot on the metal shaft, I've set up on the drill press a little diving board thing, piece of plywood, just the right thickness and width so that one of the dowel rod shafts can slide on and be drilled through like so. Nice and centered. Let's check it with a nail. Goes through with just a little bit of force and it doesn't want to rattle around. A little concerned about a potential for weakening along the center here. Doesn't feel like it's the strongest, but it may be enough to get away with. So I'll go ahead and do this for the rest of the set. Okay, ready for an initial assembly of all the pivoting rods. Okay. Check out that gimbal action. Pivoting in 2 different axes. I'm going to leave the nail uncut for now, in case I want to disassemble it later. Lovely. Okay, here's a set of assemblies ready to go into the lattice. I've gone through and made sure each one was more or less balanced, and now we're ready for installation. I'll use a pair of straight edges to align each of the mounts, keep them vertical. And now the final missing ingredient is the springs. Still not exactly sure how to go about the springs, but I've got some ideas of things to try.